Good morning and welcome back to Withrow Urban Homestead. Today is March the 20th, and I want to discuss the different ways that I make compost. Like this right back here. And here is a second compost pile. It's just a big rectangle made out of cinder blocks. It used to be double this width. 2 years ago, I started using this as a garden bed, but I also added organic matter to it and it broke down into compost. I emptied that out last year and used that as a top dressing, a mulch for the garden. And I started all over again. I started filling this up October of 2024, just last fall, and it's already broken down quite a bit. I'm not going to use it right now. I used to extend out here, but I stole the cinder blocks to use in the rest of the garden. And later, when I have the budget, I'll make a second half on either side. I have old plants in here, vegetables and flowers that I've chopped up in there. Vegetables from the kitchen, cooked or raw, and things like eggshells. And something has sprouted. I suspect it's either an old onion or probably, more likely, a daffodil. I probably threw some bulbs in there I thought weren't any good anymore. So let's pull it up and see what it is. The leaves look like daffodil leaves, kind of flat. I had a lot of old bulbs that I gave away free to my neighbors. And I don't need these, so I'm just going to leave them in there for now. Over here are bags of old fall leaves. Collected them October, November of 2023, not last year, 2 years ago, and I've just left them. They've been there since the fall of 2023. And I'm using them to make potting soil. It's my first time trying this, but they're not ready yet. They take 2 years. They need to go through 2 hot summers to totally break down. So we started in 2023, and last year was their first summer. And this year will be their second summer. And next spring in 2026, we're going to open it up and see what we have. These are our thick branches from our sunflowers and our okra and our Christmas tree. I'll cut and saw these apart later, just not today. It's not a priority right now. So if this was double wide, if it had 2 sections, I would turn this into the second area. And then I would leave it, so this is 5 months old, and I'd leave it for 6 or 7 more months before I used it. So we're going to leave it for now. We're not going to touch it, and it's what we call a static compost pile because we don't turn it. But I'm not going to add any more this season. Everything I put in during the fall has already been chopped up, but I'm just going to put these in here. Don't have time today to break them into tiny pieces. And I'm going to put this old cardboard on top. This compost is already moist, which is important for it to help break down. And that's one reason I don't cover mine with plastic. I'm going to add one layer of cardboard that we're going to get from the front porch. Now, I am not a compost expert, but this has worked for me for about 11 years. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and anything that makes gardening easier for me is a win. I started this compost pile spring of 2024, maybe the fall of 2023. I'll have to go back and check. Typically, in spring, I'll open that ring and move it, and then turn the compost into it. Then sometimes in the fall, after the plants are all pulled up, I'll move the ring again and turn it one more time. It all depends on if I want to grow in this compost. But since I tend to use it as a top dressing on top of the cardboard, any weed seeds that are in it, they're not down against the soil in the ground. And if they germinate on top of that cardboard, they die easily because there's no place for them to put their roots. And that's what I'm going to use it for this year, as a top dressing. See all the weeds over here? It's because I have not yet sheet mulched this with cardboard. We have henbit, chickweed, wild strawberries. And the cardboard's not there to block it. I typically do that in the fall. There's some over there I haven't covered either. The other side has already been done. So I'm going to lay down cardboard and then use the mulch from this ring, this compost, to cover the cardboard. There won't be enough, but what we have here is free. And see how much is already broken down into dark soil? These are the 2023 fall plants. If I started in the fall, some have chopped up, some I didn't. And spring of 2024 plants are in there. And the summer plants that were chopped up before October. After October, I didn't add anything to this pile. You see there are some sticks in there. So if this was fully broken down, if this had been here for a whole year, it would need to be sifted. But when I spread this out as mulch, I'll just move those sticks to the back. Here's an old pumpkin. See what's left? That's a Halloween pumpkin of 2023. We had more than one in there. Here's another way that I compost. I call it chop and drop. You just chop up the organic matter and spread it along back here. I tend to do that behind the berries. That is my favorite way to compost. So in the fall of 2023, I chopped and dropped and I left it for a year. And then last fall, 2024, I covered all of that with cardboard. I just left all of the old plant matter mulch, I just left it and put new cardboard on top. And then chopped and dropped new material back there. And it's breaking down. It's going to break down into soil. I wish I could chop and drop all my plants in the whole garden. But number one, there's not enough time. And my hands get tired because remember, I have rheumatoid arthritis. Now let's chop and drop these old carrot tops. Along here, this is for carrots, and I don't use cardboard. So in this specific place, I wouldn't use that compost that's not fully broken down because there's no barrier between the soil and any old weed seeds that might still be in there. For an area like this without cardboard, I'll buy mulch, wood chips, straw, hay, or something. And I'll just leave this. In the fall of 2025, I'll uncover it and I'll use this as mulch on top of the new layer of cardboard that I put on. One more thing I need to mention is how fast your compost breaks down is going to depend on this location. Is it sunnier? Is it shadier? Is it warmer? Are the sides enclosed? Are the sides open? It's all going to affect the speed of the compost. So a solid wall is going to break down faster than something open like this wire. And the top of your compost or the open edges, they're not going to break down. You can see more sticks and things along those edges. Come back and check the progress of our compost. We'll make another video where we spread this out. Thank you for visiting Withrow Urban Homestead. See you later. Bye-bye.